Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is 2025 on the ancient moon calendar. It's 2025 on the ancient sun calendar. It is 5785 on the ancient Hebrew Israel calendar. It is 10,066 on the ancient Yoruba calendar. It's trillions and millions and trillions since time immemorial, since before people started writing down the time so that they could mark the time, we were and we are. Before all others, we are. We'll prove that today also with a little bit of biblios as well, just to show you that we were here first. Therefore, everything automatically belongs to us because we created everything. Everything, we created it. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and accordance with the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the divine sovereign living justices, and Ego Sum Pauline Denise Ritchie, my free chosen sovereign appellation is like tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal natural living head and body for our empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Shemites, Israelites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy, and all else are hereby vested in ourselves. For we are the people who are the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign ancient empire state for Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign ancient Article 3 living United States District for Columbia Court, and we are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees, trustors actually, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, grantors, and title trustors for all causes for action. Our system is the trustee. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our own sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war. And we demonstrate all eternal, ancient sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-protunct. We are the ancient, eternal, original sovereign rights, Islam, because we write our rights as we should, Islam. So very quickly, we have just a couple of things that we will to share with you on the screen quickly. So as we all are aware, those who, quote unquote, revised the Bible and represented it as a King James Version and all of that, they did not have a competent understanding or overstanding of the Biblios. Within it is was hidden to them, our truth. Now, the Biblios, the ancient Biblios, not anything modern, the ancient Biblios, in the very first verse tells us that we created ourselves in the very first verse of Genesis, the first chapter. But it is only after we have awakened that we can see this. The first verse states that in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. We are God and we are earth. We are also heaven, of course. But this scripture has been overlooked for so long because it was not for those who overlooked it. It was for those who it is about. We created the heaven and the earth. And then we said, okay, let's fashion the earth and call it people, man. Not mankind, not persons, people. Man, that's a species, not a gender. Only those who have a clear understanding and overstanding of species matters scientifically know that a man is not a gender, that it is a species. They also know, we also know, we do, that within the womb of man, within each one of us, when we create our heirs, all heirs are created female, or not female, but feminine. And then we decide that we will inject more masculine energy through the umbilical cord, and genetically and consciously and spiritually, we say, okay, this heir to the whole earth and to the universe shall be masculine, or this heir shall be feminine. So that whole thing about male and female was twisted. It was backwards, as you know. Man is the species that God created. Allah is a feminine word. This is not a fight between masculine and feminine, because we're both. We're not at war with ourselves. Every male was conceived feminine. Some of them, that femininity manifested after they came out of the womb. That's why there's this big fight about LGBT and all this and that and the third. Shh. You're showing your ignorance. Don't fight that. Shh. Don't do that. That's ignorant. It's ignorant. Man, we called our creation man and mankind. We said that. But chapter 1 of Genesis is about the earth people. Chapter 2 is about mankind in the Revised Edition. So let us make that clear, that we can read. We can read. We can read. Not only can we read, we can write and author. And this is why things that come from the earth have such a profound effect on us. Food, nutrition, and minerals and things that come from the earth have an immediate effect on our bodies, because we are from not the soil. We're not from soil. We're from earth. Not from the dirt, not from the dust, but from the earth. There's a difference. The earth is the original. All those other words are representations thereof. That's what we made all the other stuff from. So it has value. And then really quickly in verse 2, and this is about all that we've been doing up to now. Verse 2 says, and the earth was without form. That means we, the earth people, did not need a form. And when I say form, I'm talking about a piece of paper. Talking about a piece of paper that doesn't have anything on it, that's made by someone else. We didn't need those forms when we could create with our own hands. And so we will not break the laws of nature and be filling out forms when from the beginning we were without form, we actually created. And we were without void. That means there was nothing missing from us. Nothing missing from us. And then it says, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The deep is the water, not the earth. The earth was lit up. The earth was light from the beginning. The earth is still light. What does that mean? That means that the things that we're made of is pure light. There was no darkness in us. Pure light. So we actually had to create darkness. And we created it not on the earth, but in the water. There is no darkness in our earth composition, our original cells, which we still have, through mother. That's why the original cells are so important. That's why the matriarch is so important, because we transfer the original cells continuously. And then we give them to our sons, but the sons cannot transfer the original cells. They transfer light. It's a spark of light. That's what they transfer. A spark of light. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So we said the water is dark. So we're going to do a little bit of creating here. And in order for God to create, God must move. That's why our movement is so important. That's why our voices are so important, because movement comes from the word. Every word we speak is movement. The word came before the light. Word comes before light. Therefore, sound actually does move faster than the speed of light. Therefore, the science, and I can't call it science, the enacted science had it backwards. They said light moves faster than sound, and light is the fastest, and it moves faster than the speed of light. Well, they said nothing moves faster than the speed of light, because for them it didn't. Nothing moved faster than the speed of light for them, because they didn't have the word first. The word comes first. It says the water was dark, but the earth was already light or enlightened, and those are our words. Our cells produce light without any outside light. Therefore, we give the sun and the moon their light. I knew that was truth, but it was only when I started really studying and having it be uncovered in my spirit that I knew that the sun shines because we say shine. We give it light. The moon does what it does because we say moon, shine. That's the only way it will do any of that. Therefore, who controls the weather? We do. We do. And so for those who were looking in a funny mirror and worried about someone trying to block out the sun, all you have to do is shine, and the sun will do the same. It will do exactly what you tell it. Exactly. We've done that demonstration many times. Many times. And without fail, the sun does what it's supposed to do. Islam. The moon as well. Are there any questions, comments, or wisdom about what we stated thus far? Islam. Any, and we have, you can star 6 to speak Islam. Questions, comments, wisdom about the fact that the sun and the moon only shine because you shine. And that people were talking about fake suns and fake moons until you woke up. Until we woke up. I have to continue to put it, bring it back home. Islam.
But they didn't.
Islam. Okay. So now our job right now and always is not to fall into a funny mirror, because it's really not there anymore for you to fall into, but stay focused on our empire. Now, there are some who have had issues with empire work.
Does your empire include that building on?
You've had issues. Some have had issues, not all, but some have had issues with seeing that their demonstrations actually did work. Okay.
Oh, you have
those who have had issues with that, this is our suggestion to you, because we know what the issue is. It's a matter of your ability to see with your spiritual eye. One of the fastest ways to properly adjust your focus, and we have many ways to do that very quickly, but one of the fastest ways to adjust your focus is a 3-day full moon fast. A 3-day full moon fast. We would encourage you to, those who are receiving your salts, to take the salts during your fast. Water, now this is going to boost what you see. And if you're not ready to see things clearly, if it scares you, don't do this yet. Okay? Don't do it yet. Just fast, but don't fast and put sea salt and lots of water with it, because you're going to be able to see all the doors and the access doors to your estate. They all open for you. And then the Spirit will tell you exactly what to do to access that door. But along the way, and I won't say but, and you will also be able to see the things that were masquerading as one thing, but it was something totally different. So that's really what was going on, is that we were shown everything backwards and upside down.
You're fucking insane.
So in order to see things clearly and properly, and this is how clear it will be for some right away, for those who don't have this gift revealed to them, because it's already in you. Whenever you look in the funny mirror and you hear something talking, if you see them running their mouths in the funny mirror, you will know exactly what they're saying about you and your estate, but it will be backwards, but you'll be able to see. It's the opposite of dyslexia. See, dyslexia was a gift in the previous era. Those of you who were quote unquote diagnosed with dyslexia, it just meant that you turned letters backwards. You switched everything. You would hear things and the words, everything would be switched backwards. Well, when you fast, because see, the clarity comes when you remove some of the toxins, and we call them toxins, but really they were inoculators. Inoculators are things that keep you from seeing. That's why the word ocular is about your eyes, and they call vaccines inoculation. It's, can you see? And see, we are so powerful that if some of us had not gotten vaccines when we were little, now we know we don't do that. We didn't do it this era. We didn't do it with that whole enactment in 2020. We didn't do any of that. But when we were little, our parents didn't know any better, and we were inoculated. But that was to keep us sane while we were in the previous era. That way we wouldn't see what we see now and have us to, we wouldn't have had anyone to explain it to us what we're seeing, and it would have confused us. That's what this is all about. There are some who come with, who I know of one or two who came with a particular energy that was not a clear, clean energy. And not only did they come with that energy and they knew that they had that energy, but they continued in that energy after the spirit showed them that that's not the energy to come with. They wouldn't clear the energy, and they ended up having to be committed because they were seeing things that they could not, that wasn't being explained to them. It's kind of like it was being explained, but they couldn't hear, and they couldn't see the truth of the matter.
That explains you all.
So when you're looking at a video, for example, and someone is speaking, when you can see, it's almost like you hear what they're not saying. You hear what they're saying, and then there are some things that they can't say, but they're inferring or implying. All of that stuff becomes crystal clear to you, and it's not even a mystery. And you get to the point where you're like, that's what you were supposed to say, because that's what we said. That's what we put on the record. That is the law. Is, for example, the dismantling of the funny mirror and anyone pretending to be a fake government. And we see that being dismantled now where everyone can see it. And some people, it scares them. And then there's us. It doesn't scare us because we stated, we made that the law. Speaking of which, WHICHE, has anyone seen the logo for what they call Doge, DOGE, which is e-God backwards? That's electronic God. That means the gods have taken over the electronics. Has anyone seen the logo for Doge, DOGE? They're the ones who are the actors who are acting like they're dismantling the fake government.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
Pulling down everything. Have you seen the logo for it? Well, let us show you the logo.
All I've seen is the acronym. That's all I've seen.
Okay.
Why'd your cell service get cut off? Why'd your cell service get cut off?
One moment. Let me make this smaller so you can see it. First of all, it looks like a cartoon because they are children. But they have to tell the truth about what's really happening. What do you notice
Pauline,
in that logo? What do you notice in the logo? Islam Empress.
Flag is backwards. For one flag is backwards, the other flag is the way we're used to seeing it.
Yes. The one that's backwards is in the O. That's the one that's backwards. And then ours with the stars first, because that's to the right. We're leading the way. That is the one that's at the top of our documents. They're sending messages just like we told them to do.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Islam.
Well, but you know what? No one can deny what they're seeing. What's at the top of our documents and what's there? Islam nobility.
Islam. I just peeped that too. Because the way they got it right there, that's a signal of compliance. They're in compliance of our orders. That's all that is.
Of course. And if you put the word Doge backwards, it's EGOD. Just like email, electronic mail, electronic guide. All they're doing is telling everyone that we have the electronic part of everything is already, we've conquered that as well. Islam, justice to kill. Justice to kill.
You can also look at the O. It looked like the gears, the wheels are turning.
Yeah, Islam, yes indeed. That's a good one, justice to kill. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, the wheels is turning. They trying to get it right.
And they got 5-pointed stars everywhere. And they're not black 5-pointed stars, they're white.
Islam Empress.
Islam Empress.
I can confirm for a fact that this last term that Moors met with me and had a conversation. So I know this to be true.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's again, there's no one who is not subject to us, Morse. There's no one. I don't care who it is. And I can't say I don't care who it is, but there's no one who is not subject to us. That person does not exist who's not subject to us at all times. Islam.
And the fact that they use man's best friend with a blue collar. Come on, this is like right in your face.
That's good, Justice Nate. I hadn't even thought about that. I was like, what does that dog have to do with it? But that's true.
It's not really a dog. It's actually a fox.
Okay.
The whiskers is a certain type of way. Dogs is different. Their faces are different. So this is a fox. Fox symbol. If they doing symbol, this is symbolization of the white fox.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Standard.
Yeah. And the
it
dog
has a blue leash around its neck. A blue leash.
And the dog is gold color, really. That's like a gold, saying the gold is here. It's a lot of symbolization in this one photo.
Yeah.
You got the gears is going with the prophet told us that when the commerce starts back up is what? Because they got the commerce banners there showing.
Yeah.
And then they have the stars around it. So this is different. This symbolization with the this O here that looks like a gear with how the banner is in the middle with the stars around it. It's showing you they're back at this pipe. How many stars is it? 8, 9, 10, 15.
Yeah.
15. There's a lot of symbolization going on here.
Well, we did a Congress about 4 or 5 years ago where we talked about and showed how in the 1930s, right after they started printing the fiat in their enactment, that they would send out quote unquote government cheese and other government products, and they would have both the banners on there right next to each other, forming a V, and it would be their banner on one side and our banner on the other. They were letting everyone know that they were enacting that the acting had started. We showed that 4 or 5 years ago, and we were pointing, saying that was them telling everyone who received those products that it was coming from a joinder of the two commercial entities.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
We also have the water.
Yes.
Look at the bottom of the letters.
Yes, that's blue, the blue.
Right.
Indeed, indeed. And that's what I was also alluding to with the color of the leash, is the water. That's commerce.
Yeah, again, the fox symbolized the spirit.
Yeah, yeah, Islam. So, again, our word is the law. Everyone must comply because we created everything.
Is that why they
And
cut
we
your
have
cell
to know
service
that.
off? They cut your cell.
They wanna make a big deal out of that. No, it wasn't. Listen, we're still communicating. We're still communicating right now. Right now. And I can go online on this thing anytime I will to go online. So nothing's cut off. It's right here working. So let's talk about a little bit about I will to bring forth the fast Thursday, March 13th, Friday, March 14th, and Saturday, March 15th. We're very powerful, and this fast is just another way to access more clarity and more of our vast estate. Some of us live with a state of fasting, and when I say live with a state of fasting, there's some things we're just never going to do. There's some things we're never going to eat. There's something, and we each have our own. We don't condemn anybody for eating whatever you will to eat, because we eat whatever we will to eat. Okay, let's make that clear. But because we self-govern so well, it does not, even the things that we eat that may be from the previous era, it doesn't dim our vision. It doesn't cause us to get so sleepy that we fall back to sleep. There was something in the previous era we called it the itis, where when you would eat, you would automatically get sleepy. That was a hint. It was a hint. There's nothing wrong with eating. There's nothing wrong with food. There's nothing wrong with any of that. We enjoy whatever we will to enjoy when we will to enjoy it. But that's because we self-govern so well that when it's time, when our bodies give us certain signals, we say, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do what our ancestors did. And when you self-govern like that and put that for things such as drinking water, all throughout the day we're drinking water, all throughout the day. Starting our day with water usually. Some days we'll start with pine tree tea or something like that. But when our bodies give us certain signals, we listen to our bodies. That's called self-government. Self-government. That's the highest form of self-government that you can do, is to listen to your body. When your body starts exhibiting certain signs and symptoms, then you know just what adjustment to make. And for many of us, it's minor adjustments. For all of us, it's minor adjustments. A minor adjustment is going ahead and taking sea salt every day until we have that buildup. And once we get that buildup, our bodies will say, okay, take it now once every 2 or 3 days, because you've got these other things that are going on also, like you're drinking water and you're exercising and things of that nature. There's a reason why we have these temples that we have. So anyone who is dealing with anything, if you have ever been told, I won't call it a diagnosis because that's if you think about that word, diagnosis. Gnosis means to know. just like they call them agnostics. Gnosis means to know. Diagnostic or diagnose, what do you think that means? That's why we don't go to fakes when physician can heal, we can heal ourselves. Physician, heal thyself. So for those who will to have more clarity, if you've not been able to see clearly that everything that you've done actually did work, we highly, highly, highly suggest that you fast these 3 days. And for many of us, we don't eat any food the whole time, the whole 3 days. We just drink water. We take our sea salt and other things that we have. We only take the natural things during that time period. And for others, they do sun up to sundown, which is okay because you still have, a time period where you're just drinking water and doing things that are right for you. But it's getting to the point now where we're having so many things sent to us and so many things presented to us on our own land. We're out there finding things that during the 3-day fast, we can take all of those things and we won't even miss a beat. Not at all. We'll just be fasting from any food from the previous era. That's all. And you can fast however your spirit leads you to fast. If your spirit says don't eat any food for 3 days, only drink water, lots of water, and take the natural sea salt, then do that. The results of that type of a fast, the results last for years. Years. Just one fast, the results last for years. So with each fast, you're layering your abilities and your clarity. When we first started this work, we did not, we wondered, are we going to have enough things to say for, to have a meeting once a week? Do we have enough, information to present to the people? Whew. We got so much that we could do this 8 hours a day, every day, and still have enough, have information everywhere. That we said, okay, we're not going to present this because we don't have enough time. And I won't say we won't have enough time, but we're trying to we're putting as much as possible into the time that we spend together here, that we vest together on this platform. Speaking of abundance, the ancestors have stated. Islam Empress.
Yes. I hate to interrupt. Could you open the meeting and I'll confirm
Sure.
when I'm in?
Sure.
Thank
Islam.
you so much. Islam.
The ancestors have stated that we will know that we have further succeeded in having full authority on our land. And this is Islam Empress. Thank you. This is how we will know that we have even further, because we already have full authority on our land. But we will know that we have further succeeded in having full authority on our land when the majority of what we eat, drink, and use on a daily basis comes from each other rather than anywhere else. Now, that might sound monumental to some until you really think about it, It will take a bit of time, but we will accomplish the goal. We will continue to put what we have together and support each other. Now, let me just explain to
So
you.
many failures in the past. How is this going to work?
Let me explain to you how easy and simple this is.
Just one
Let me just
failure
explain, because it's very, very simple. I'll explain it and present it by offering a thank you to Chief Justice Anthony Richard St. Clair L. at Maryland Territory. Chief Justice Anthony Richard St. Clair L. Let me offer my thanks to you directly, and then to the Congress. What he sent to us, he sent some sea moss. Just natural, went out, pulled the sea moss, and dehydrated it and sent it. He sent cloves. He sent nutmeg. He sent cinnamon sticks. He sent cinnamon powder. And he sent a precious metal. The metal that he sent was precious because he took it from a bracelet that he had, and he willed that we have it. And we will that you know that our heart is full with all that you sent. But now I'll use what he sent as an example of how easy it's going to be for us to get everything that we will from each other and not have to go outside of that. Chief Justice Anthony sent some cinnamon sticks and some cinnamon to us. Well, first let us show you the sea moss that he sent. And we'll do that by changing the view and stopping. Yes, yes to those who have inboxed us. We're just now seeing the inbox. Yes, to those who inboxed us. Is Justice Sharif in? Is Justice Sharif in? Has he made it?
He's trying.
Okay. Here, we'll just leave it open for a while. So Justice Anthony St. Clair L. sent us, and we'll just show you briefly what he sent, some sea moss. And what he did was he just put it in, he dehydrated it and put it in a packet, in these 2 packets. Now, listen, this is enough sea moss right here. These 2 sandwich bags of sea moss is enough for us for at least 3 months. Because what we're going to do is grind it into a fine powder, and we're going to use it as a seasoning and sprinkle it with our sea salt on top of our salads, on top of our foods that we eat. We'll just sprinkle it on there like a seasoning and be getting.
Where's your sea salt plant at, Pauline? Why don't you just make it at your sea salt plant? Come on, bitch. That sea salt plant on first.
We are our sea salt plant. So that's kind of an incompetent. That's incompetent.
Remember that building on First Avenue?
We are our sea salt plant. Our plant is already getting sea salt out.
That building on First Avenue was supposed to be your big old.
So now I can take these 2 sea moss and just
how quickly we forget.
Put it into our blender and blend it up into a fine powder.
You have a very short memory.
And just sprinkle it on what we do, on what we eat. Or put some of it into our whatever we're drinking. If we're drinking our pine tree tea, we'll add a little bit in there. And we have enough to last us quite a while. He also sent And see, this is what I'm saying about I don't have to go get sea moss anywhere else for at least 3 months. I don't have to go get it anywhere else. I got it from him, from Justice Anthony Richard St. Clair L. at Maryland Territory. Then he sent some cinnamon sticks and some nutmeg. This is my first time actually handling nutmeg nuts. And
you've had these nuts in your mouth a whole bunch of times.
They're so beautiful and so shiny, and all we have to do is just, again, grind them up, grind them into a fine powder, and we don't have to buy nutmeg. We got enough of these to last us at least 6 months. And it was only 5 of them. Oops. Empress Nabi, are you there? I hit the button a little too fast. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 4 or 5 nutmeg nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 nutmeg nuts. That's enough. Grating and grinding. I got enough now to fill a little seasoning thing container. Empress Nabi, are you there? Empress Nabi, we're looking for her. Empress Nabi, are you there? We'll leave it open until she gets in. So we have now enough nutmeg to last us a while. And this is what I'm saying. Empress Nabi, are you there? Okay, good.
Gratitude. I wanted to say about that nutmeg, when it's really, really strong when you grate it, and it's one of the most powerful painkillers that there is. It's comparable to morphine, so, use it sparingly.
Empress, I'm so glad you told me because, we was ready to just dump it on. But we know we would have been fine anyway.
You like sucking on nuts?
Because we knew we would have been fine already, but because our body has been conditioned with the sea salt. You see what I'm saying? Our body has been conditioned because of the sea salt. But I'm glad you stated that because it's necessary to know that. It's necessary to know that. The things that we're getting, and this is what I was telling Justice Ogunwale in the meeting about the salt that he received, is that the things that we're getting are so pure, that it's much stronger than anything you would get at, let's say, a quote-unquote grocery store. Much stronger. So that's another reason why it's going to last longer. And our palates have to be prepared for that. Our palate, that which we eat from, our tongue, our palate, our taste, our cells have to be prepared for that. It's not going to hurt or kill any of us if we take a whole lot of whatever is. All that's going to happen is we just going to have a lot of energy for a long time and, that kind of thing. But, yes, Justice Harold said he remembered the nutmeg was mentioned in the Malcolm X movie. Yes. Empress Moore says grind or grate them. Yes. Thank you all so much for, and then the cloves that he sent. He sent us enough cloves for us to have clove tea for a minute. Because cloves, these are strong. They're stronger than, so I don't have to buy cloves. It only takes 3 of them to make a good cup of tea. So, listen, Morris, this is why I say, we will know that we have further conquered our resources. And conquered means just controlling, authority, government. When we can get things from each other and don't have to go to the grocery store down the street.
But you ain't got no money to buy nothing. You ain't got no money.
And obviously, we're sending him some sea salt, so he won't have to go and get his sea salt from anywhere but us. So he asked for 2 pounds of sea salt, and we don't have that much because of the demand. We don't have 2 pounds to give at this time. We will work our way up to that, though. We're creating it as quickly as the Spirit leads us to do it, as quickly as the Spirit leads us, and then and getting it out as quickly as possible. And so we're getting it out in smaller amounts, like anywhere from 3 to 16 ounces. 3 to 16 ounces, and we know 16 ounces is that's a lot. We have not sent that out yet. A 16 ounce.
You're supposed to be mass producing
that out. Not yet. So because we're handcrafting everything, and because it's custom made, we have to take our time with it and get it out that way. Islam Justice Ogunwale.
I remember you explaining if you wanted to send a particular message to you. I'm trying to send you some addresses. And I went into the 10D and found your box, but I can't send it. I punch enter, it just goes to the next line.
What do you mean?
Like,
in the chat?
Yes. In your personal chat.
I don't know why that is, Justice Ogunwale. What you can do is email them to you. You're sending some addresses for the salt.
Yes.
You can send them to Empress Shasha and
okay.
Or Empress Ravana. Empress Ravana is my daughter, and she's the chief for the salt company, for the salt activities and actions.
Okay.
So she does everything that has to do with them, and her and Empress Shasha have come. Empress Shasha does the addresses for the Congress, and Empress Ravana does the addresses everywhere else, and our address list is infinite almost.
Okay.
So Justice Ogunwale, if you will, to email them, you can email, or you can send them to me, and I'll forward them to. I'll copy Empress Shasha and Justice and Empress Ravana, Empress Shasha and Empress Ravana, because Empress Shasha is making a list because she's got things she's going to be sending also to those who request. And then anyone else who wills to have the list who is producing, you must be already producing, to get access to the list. And we will meet with you first beforehand, before we, if you've not been a part of Congress, we'll meet with you beforehand, before giving the list, because the list is extensive. So those who have received salt, you're also going to be receiving things from other places, from other Moors, sending things out. And they'll be pulling from the trust, so you don't have to send them any funds or anything like that. The funds will come from the trust. And then what we're doing is we're recording all of this so that when it's time to present our books to our bank to get the monies, and we're there already. We're there already. Then we can pull that for the production from the bank, and then continue producing even bigger and greater and more. What we're doing is in all areas. Yes, is indeed, Empress. In all areas, the temple is growing and prospering in every area. Commerce is one area that our temple, our empire is growing. And then in the knowledge of the empire, that's growing as well. And then the ability for the Moors to create their own birth certificates and birth affidavits and records and things, both lawfully and legally, is growing. So our empire is growing by leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. We're actually dashing all boundaries.
Islam, Empress.
Islam, Justice Anthony Judah Singh.
Yes. Peace and grand rising to all the Moors.
Islam.
I have a brief question, Empress, regarding the mailing process.
Only 55 people on the call.
Go ahead, Nobility.
Yes, regarding the mailing process. Now, bullshit, if whatever it is that's
all bullshit.
Just a moment. Boy, I tell you, they love you. Go ahead, Justice. They love you.
Yes, thank you. Whatever it is that you're mailing with the mailing process, if it cannot fit in the 9x12 envelope, could we use like a small box but do the same process?
Yes.
Okay, Empress. Gratitude. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We've done that as well. We sent Empress Aisha some salt, and we just put it in a little box and used the very same mailing process, and it went straight to her.
Yes, Empress.
I'm excited. Very excited for us. Justice Anthony, I'm looking forward to receiving from you as well, because you got some powerful stuff over there too.
Yes, they're definitely going out in the mail first thing tomorrow. What had happened is I went to the post office, but it couldn't fit inside the slot because the package was too big. So I had to take it back home, and I have to redo it this time in a box.
Yeah.
So I'm heading back to the post office tomorrow morning.
Because of Polly.
Yeah. So as soon as the post office is open tomorrow morning, I'll be back there to mail that box off.
Islam.
Why was I evicted?
Indeed, Empress. The nutmeg, right? They're doing something here now. They're making a nutmeg eye wash that is restoring blindness.
What? Say that again,
yes. The nutmeg, they're making a process here now for eye wash that restores blindness.
They're making a nutmeg eye wash. Wait a minute, because they don't want nobody to hear it, but we're going to keep booting you out so that everybody can hear. They're making a nutmeg eye wash that is restoring vision.
Indeed. Yes, Empress.
Wow.
I'm going to get further information on that and some of that product, and I will mail it to you also, coming up soon.
Yes, Nobility. Wow. You see, the things that are happening in the spirit realm are starting to manifest in the natural. See, we can see now in the spirit realm. So now it only means that we must be able to see in the natural.
Yes, indeed, Empress.
Anthony, that is just, I have goosebumps just thinking about that. Because I know it to be true. Another reason that I know that to be true is because the actors have been acting like people can go to a quote-unquote church, and again, we're not mad at Christians. We're talking about the commercial ones right now. The commercial Christians have been trying to put their hands on people and make it so that people can see, but the people can't see. Even after they do that, the people still can't see because that's not how because their commerce is not working. See, their commerce was a manifestation of their commerce.
All right.
So it makes sense. That makes sense. What you stated, a nutmeg eye wash that is restoring vision.
Yes, and I also have access to plenty of it.
I know
there is the tree that grows it. There's a lot of trees. I have access to the trees that grows it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Talk about titans for industry. Titans. Masters for industry.
Yeah. I'm going to be sending a lot coming your way soon.
Islam Nobility, and we're going to show it off. We're going to show everyone. Just like we're doing with Justice Anthony from Maryland territory. We're so grateful to him. Oh, the cinnamon sticks. I mean, the packaging just smelled so good.
Yes.
He cinnamon sticks, and I'm like, I'm so excited. I was dancing around because I'm like, and then he sent some ground cinnamon as well. So fresh, it smells so good.
I will also try to get some cinnamon leaves. The leaves too is nice.
Yes. Yes.
When you're cooking, like if you're making porridge,
yes,
or if you're cooking porridge, you could just drop a few leaves inside the pot, and it spices up the whole pot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
cinnamon leaves. Yeah.
Justice Anthony, I know it. This is Justice Anthony Judah Singh. I know it. Justice Anthony is at the island, so he has access to a lot. He's at Jamaica territory. So they have a lot of great stuff there. He and Empress Shasha, they have a lot. They have so much there. And then we have so much here, and wherever you are, you have so much right where you are. Right where you are. Let me say this too about what we're talking about right now and about being able to see. If I were to just look at look outside the window of where I am, well, there are trees out there that don't have any leaves on them. They're just budding a little bit. If that was all I looked at, I would think, oh, well, I don't have anything because all these trees are bare except the evergreen trees. But because we can see, all we see is abundance when we look out the window. All we see is abundance. If Justice Anthony at Maryland Territory would have sent any more than this, we would have had a year's worth. It didn't take much because it's natural.
There's a lot here, Empress, and I'm willing to share with all the Moors. It's not a problem.
Make sure you get your books. You record where you send each and every item because that's banking for you, nobility. There are resources coming for those records. And we're the ones bringing them. Islam. That's why there was such a push to try and stop, but that's a done deal. That's a wrap. We're done already. We got it already. And so the government mailing process, speaking of that, removes the distance from between us as we focus our energy on coming together by travel. So we are going to be coming together by travel. But think about it. Now that we have all of this, listen, the travel piece is next anyway. Why? Because we already have things moving across our land. We sent the word first with the products. See, the products moving freely and unencumbered, that's a foretelling that we are coming, and there won't be any hindrance to us coming either. Our movement, because we travel above the authority of these things. These products that we send are a part of our body. They are part and parcel of the land, the earth. So we're not going to have any problem. That's why I say it doesn't matter if you only have one pine tree in your whole territory, and there are no territories that have just one pine tree. They have all kinds. All territories are abundant, rich, wealthy, super wealthy, abundant. All territories. You just have to know what to look for.
Islam
nobility. Start sending stuff out now.
Yes,
Islam.
Tomorrow morning, first thing. And definitely, and to the person just put in the chat about the eye issue, that they will want to obtain some of the nutmeg eye wash, you could contact me. My email address is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those who may have in the previous era, if you lost a limb or you had something removed or something like that, it's coming back. Our bodies self-regenerate, just so that you're aware. That's why this movement is so important. That's why it's so important.
Islam.
Empress Amora.
Yeah, in line with the regeneration. Have you heard about the med beds?
Med beds. I heard something about them. I know that they assist those who haven't been able to regenerate themselves naturally. A med bed is an assistance to that, from what I hear.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well.
Yeah. Anything that is outside of us is to assist. It's essentially a prosthetic device. As we know, prosthetics mimics the body parts. That's what prosthetics do. For example, eyeglasses are a prosthetic device. Contact lenses are a prosthetic device. Those who are amputees and they have, prosthetic limbs and things, those are prosthetic devices that mimic the actual limb. Now, let me say this too about those who may have lost a limb in the previous era. You have something called phantom limb syndrome. Phantom limb syndrome means that even after you lose the limb, you still feel like that limb is there. You can still feel pain and everything in that limb because we're spirit. We're spirit first and then flesh. Okay? So as your limb returns back to you, because it's coming back, as your limb returns back to you, phantom limb syndrome will go away and your regular feeling will be there because it was all spirit in the first place. I used to manage, I used to be in management in prosthetics at the Durham VA Medical Center, the Durham Veterans Administration Medical Center, Durham, North Carolina territory, in my sleep. And so we know quite a bit about prostheses and things of that nature. National trade launch, listen, just please, if you have, whatever you have, Moors, whatever you have, go ahead and start finding ways to get it out, even if you just start with one little thing. You can use us as the test location to send it to if you will to, or use your family, your kin as a test location to send it to. Use the government mailing process so that you don't feel like you have to use fiat all the time to come out of your pocket and be using fiat to send things. That won't work with commerce. It will not. It won't work with government. There's not enough fiat printed for that to happen, for us to use fiat to send things. It's just there's not enough. That is why we had to do what we're doing. Recording, which we call it booking, booking what you tribute. Because see, again, when Justice Anthony St. Clair L. from Maryland Territory, when he sent these things, all he was doing was tributing things that come from our trust anyway. The things are already naturally belonging to the people. But it's only through the people that the things can get to each other without any barriers. Okay? Those who will to have information about the nutmeg eye wash, check the chat. Justice Anthony has placed his email address in the chat. And we won't, that's for those who are present here at Congress. Apologies to those who are not, because I know some can't be here, but for those who are present at Congress, his email is in the chat, Islam. So now let me state also, And he's going to be pulling from your trust as he sends things out. He's going to book that amount for whatever he sends, and he gets to set the price of it. And it won't be some astronomical, outrageous thing, but it will be the value of what's really being sent. And the testament that Justice Ogunwale gave about the salt and what it did for him prior to us starting this recording is why the salt is what it is. It's $99 an ounce. And that's an undervalue, but we will to start somewhere. And that's where we chose to start with the salt value, $99 an ounce. Now we know why. See, those who take it, they know why it's that. And that's not even, it should be more. We're going to also, I believe, because I didn't get an invoice, I didn't get a prepaid receipt. Justice Anthony St. Clair L., I did not get a prepaid receipt on how much you're charging for these things. So if you could send a prepaid receipt listing the price of each one of these, be generous with yourself, because our trust is infinite. Be generous with yourself, but in a market-wise fashion. And send us a paid in full invoice as you pull it from our trust. And then we'll do the same with our sea salt. We'll send a paid in full invoice with the sea salt that we send to each and every one. Justice Ogunwale, those who've gotten sea salt up to now did not get a paid in full receipt, but that's because it wasn't clarified in the spirit realm to us until now. And so now we're starting to send those. And that will also be a witness to what we book, what we record in our accounting books. We would love to know what Justice Anthony is charging for these in terms of our trust, because I know there are other Moors who will to have these same things, and it's just interesting to see, because then anyone else who sends sea moss or cloves or nutmeg or cinnamon, or we can compare the different territories, because see, different territories have different types of the same thing. For example, Utah has pink sea salt, pink sea minerals, ocean or water minerals, salt water minerals. Utah has pink. Arizona has pink. There are some places that have black saltwater minerals here on this land. There are some places that have, and we have ours looks like snow or sugar or something of that nature, depending on whether you get the finely ground or the rough, the coarse salt water minerals. Islam. So with that being stated, Justice Kansu, Islam nobility.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Everyone else. I have been importing most of the stuff that you've been talking about. And I'm not really a producer. I'm here in England, so we don't produce stuff. I have to import it. So can I still send to the people's list?
Can you still send to the people on the list, Justice Kansu? We don't know. Can you?
Okay.
And we know, but we will that you know. Now, let me say this about where you are. You absolutely do have resources there. You absolutely do. Let me ask you a question, Justice Kansu. Are there any rocks at your territory?
Yeah.
Okay. And I just pointed this out to a Kenyan Moor a couple of days ago. Every rock is composed of natural resources such as iron, calcium, magnesium, zinc, gold, silver, other minerals and elements, and so all you have to do is look at those rocks, and the color of the rock will tell you what it has more of. The darker the rock, it will have more things like sulfur and iron. If it's reddish, it will have more iron, more and sulfur and things of that nature. If it's a lighter colored rock, then it will have more of other elements in it, the lighter elements. So all you have to do, like they do, and they do this at Sindit or India territory, they just pick the rocks and separate them by the color of the rock, grind it up into a fine powder, and then package it in little zip bags like they would any other like we would sea salt or any other element. You have to do the research and find out what each one contains, and then you use that as your marketing or your statement of what's in it. Because we all need those things that's in the rocks. And it makes a difference whether the rock's been sitting in water. So like we were at the waterfront a few days ago and looking at all the different rocks, because there's so many different colors of rocks there. Those rocks are different from what the Kenyan Moor was telling me about, how his grandfather has these rocks in the other Africa that are they're soft like chalk. And so I said to him that those rocks must be rocks that are only on the land, because if it was chalky and it's in the water, it's going to dissolve the water. So you have different sets of types of rocks on the land. They're different from the ones on the water because the environment has been different for so long. So then you go out and you search those, and the softer rocks will make a better grind, but the harder rocks work longer. They're more effective for a longer period of time. And we only have to take a little bit, just a little bit. Okay? Even sand has nutritional value for us depending on how you use it. It has healing properties depending on how we use it. Okay? So Justice Konsu, every territory is a wealth of resources. So yes, you can, and the rocks that are at your territory are going to have a unique composition. So we can then say, these rocks came from the United Kingdom. And then everyone will automatically know, okay, those rocks have this composition. They have more of this and that. Okay? So, everyone has something somewhere that they contribute to everyone. And let me say this, these tributes are to those who are due the tributes, because we are heirs to the trust. We are beneficiaries for the trust. So we are due tribute. But somebody's got to do the tributing. And it cannot be fakes, and corpses cannot tribute living items and products and resources. It's really, product is really not the right word. Natural resources is the right word.
And if you trespass, you'll go to jail.
And there's no such thing as trespassing on our own land. That's what our documentation is for. But we already proved that. We already proved that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you went to jail for trespassing.
Here we are.
You went to jail.
Here we are. Here we are. We have the proof here. Here's the sea salt. We have the proof. And we're here. Islam. We have the proof. So, Justice Consul, you contribute to whomever you will, whoever your spirit says to tribute to, and you contribute what you will from your territory. All you have to do is pull just a few of them and do the lab work on them, do the research and the lab work on them so that you know exactly what you're tributing. Islam. So, listen, nobody is left out in this. No one is left out. We all have something we bring to the table, every one of us. And then there are Moors who have other food items and things that they bring to the table. You know, there are Moors who have vegetables and fruit and things of that nature that they bring to the table. So let's make sure that we keep all of this in mind while we're doing what we're doing. Okay? So, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this great Congress about any of the things that we have stated thus far? Islam, nobility.
I just want to ask you if you can open the meeting.
Sure. I will do that. Gladly, Islam. Islam. Are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this great and mighty Congress about the national trade launch? It really has already started, just so that we're all aware. The trade launch has already started. We were getting things out already. We got a good head start on that. But we would state that anyone who has anything at their territories to go ahead and get it out there. Islam. Now, Islam, Empress.
Just to add a couple little things on what we're speaking of, the natural resources. So, noble. I was unaware of the nutmeg.
So it's your poor people swap meet. It's the poor people.
Just a moment, Empress. Wait a minute. Let me just close this off. Go ahead, Empress.
So so it's interesting because I know about nutmeg and pain relief and all those sorts of things, and I love it in my coffee. And
you're going to regenerate.
But it's interesting about sight. So it's great for eyesight.
Yeah.
One of the things, if you want to remember your dreams or know your dreams, place a nutmeg under your pillow. So if there, hearing about the eyesight and then knowing about the dreams, there's that spiritual component along with the physical. And so I just wanted to share that. And cinnamon.
Yes.
So I use cinnamon to make my own deodorant. It is a natural deodorant. I mean, it's excellent for diabetes, fungus, all those types of things, cinnamon itself. But I prefer to use the leaf, but I will use the powder also, or just grate but it's an excellent natural deodorant.
Wow.
I use, if I have seeds, which I'm waiting for my supplies to come in, the moringa, I'll use the moringa base or castor oil. Or if I have coconut oil, I will use just
hey, Tonus, let us know when that leg grows back.
Go ahead, Noble.
I don't and haven't used
I want to hear all about that leg growth.
In years, because deodorants, the ones in the store.
Fucking fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share those things. I mean.
So that's why you smell so bad.
It's actually excellent. And so the medicine that it provides, if you think about what it's good for if you ingest it, it's also you're still getting the medicine under your armpits, and your armpits are very powerful areas.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to share that little piece.
Yes. Wow, Empress. You just have everything. I'm so looking forward to coming to that territory because there's so many beautiful natural resources there. And I know we have them here too, but
you know, it's really, in my calling back to my roots, my ancestors, part of my journey was the herbs. You know, 27 years, I was told I would need a liver. And I looked at my sons, who were baby and 2 years old at the time, and I just stopped going to the doctor. I looked at my sons and I said, I have 2 sons to raise. They told me I had 15 years before I would have to have a liver. And I just said, no, I'm not going to spend the next 15 years waiting for my liver to pack up. And I just left them all. I mean, literally said, I ain't coming back, not coming. They'd send rude letters. And my mission was to find the natural medicine.
How long ago was that, Empress? You said it was like 30 years ago?
27 years ago. My son, my oldest, turned 29 Christmas Eve.
Wow.
My youngest was a baby. And I mean, I would go for these diagnoses, which they never could. And each time there'd be another syllable added to this multisyllabic word. Which was
it was 60 days in jail for that bit. 60 days in jail.
And I mean, when I think about all the different tests, and just, one day, and literally I stopped taking the meds, first of all, because I started to do research. Yeah. And I saw the side, and I just stopped, but I didn't tell them I wasn't taking them.
Yeah.
It was even a mindset thing. And then I just stopped going, because every 3 months, every 6 months, you're put into that state of, what am I going to be told? What's wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, I just walked away, and I do not go to the doctor. And I trust that the herbs that are underfoot, over my head, to my side, particularly when they're in abundance in my yard or where I trod, they're my medicine.
Yeah.
So, they will tell me. I mean, literally, I've had experience where I've asked the plant, what's it good for? And it told me,
Yeah.
But I also research. I mean, but yes, that is, and I've had people, say, aren't you afraid, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, I have my own inner physician.
There it is. There it is.
And it's done, I'm Medea. Medea.
No one knows our bodies like we do.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And even when my sons, when my sons were little, as a mother, no one knows their bodies like we do when they're little too.
Yes. Yes.
So it's really just, yes, it took some courage in the beginning, because you're considered how, but you didn't go to medical school. Everybody, and then the people around, you don't know. You're getting off the internet. You're not educated. Well, no.
Right.
And one of the things, I'm going to share another piece in that. When I was married, and coming to the end of that phase in my life, but one of the things that prompted me to come out of it was that I saw what happened with my ex-husband and his mother when she started to kind of exhibit some of her own personal power.
Mm-hmm.
She was put into, they said she had Alzheimer's, and put into a hospital, and I watched that in a married state, you don't have power. As in, the people, they will, the people who are with your spouse, for instance, they're going to go to them for how to treat you. And I knew I didn't want certain things. No, we laugh, but it's the truth. And I remember looking at this, and I mean, I knew my marriage piece had passed at that point, but it was definitely accelerated my stepping out, because I would rather be a Jane Doe than be at the mercy of, and not saying that, and he would have done it as but who did not have the same mindset about healthcare and that system. It would be better that I be on my own, even if I had written a plan.
Yeah.
Because I would think that whatever I said would go, and no one else would have that say so, as it were. And it's just, we just have to know that we are the authority on our whole being, head to toe, inside and outside.
Empress, I'm just so grateful for what you're stating, because here's the situation. Anybody who doubts that we can take better care of ourselves than any education system could, I'll race them in the street.
That's why you're in the ghetto.
Let's get out there.
We're all in the ghetto.
Let's get out there. Let's get out there and I'll race you, and we'll see who physically. Come on.
Exactly.
I'll race you. Let's see who can run on the treadmill the longest. Then tell me about physically who's
healthy. In truth, think about this. Your health begins with your mind.
Yes.
So if your mind is not fully under your authority, you cannot be as healthy as one whose mind is.
That's the key.
That's the key to everything. That is the key to everything. And so,
everybody that I know of whose trust is in that previous quote-unquote medical system, we are healthier than they are.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, just from
the mind.
Just from looking, from the eyes, and just from what you can see, and from what we're healthier. We're healthier.
We're living. We are living. We are of a living, live vibration.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That cow angel's alive.
Yes. We supersede physically.
Yes.
Islam.
That's Islam nobility.
How you doing, Empress?
All is well.
All is well. I'm going to show you something right here, right now. These are returned. Can you see it? Oh, yeah, you can see it here. Stamped and sealed. Remember we talked and you said I've been busy? That wasn't too long ago, and it came right back. Stamped and sealed.
Good. Great.
Stamped and sealed. But I want to know, I haven't got one from you yet.
Because it hasn't gotten here yet.
Okay.
Now I'm telling you, I can tell you now that we've received many other things, just like the things that we received here, the sea moss and things that we've received. We've received many other things, nobility. So I know that there are no coincidences. The ancestors know what they're doing. So just let that be what it is and keep moving.
I will. Listen, it's the same one. Empire State of Morocco, Moorish National Republic, federal government.
You can send it that?
911?
Yes.
Is it 911, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I yield.
Islam. So, Islam. Wow. The thing is, too, again, just as it was stated in the Biblios about when the Israelites were escaping captivity, that not a single one of them left there sick. Not a single one left sick. They were all well. And it's not that we're escaping anyone's captivity, because no one has the authority to make us captive. That's something that is a concurrence. We had to concur with that, and now we don't. It was an enactment. But the reason being is that all we are doing is going by the way that our ancestors told us to go. We're honoring our mother and father by doing what we're doing. So let me state that something that the ancestors said to us this past week, this past strong rather, and it was the most renewing, invigorating, rejuvenating, energizing, living thing that I've heard from our ancestors. One of the most, because everything they say is just all of that. But each day I ask the ancient ancestors within me, this is my question. Ancestors, what did you do with as all the wealth that you have? Exponential trillions and millions and billions in wealth. What did you do each day? When our ancestors arose at daylight, what did they do? Or when they arose at nightlight, because some of them were night people. What did you do to manage and govern all of your wealth? Whatever they did, I will do each day. So when I woke up, and those are not even the right words, when I rose from my resting period, from my sleep cycle, from my rest cycle, I said, ancestors, what would you be doing today? Because we are our ancestors returned. And when I think about our ancestors, all I think about is the Great Pyramids. I think about the gold everywhere. I think about Wakanda. I think about those things because I don't even see our ancestors any other way because I know who they are. Okay? So I just say whatever you did today with all of your wealth, that's what I will do today to manage the wealth. And once I allowed that seed to grow, and it's continuing to grow, every day I wake up knowing that we are the most wealthy in the universe and outside of the universe as well, and that it is our job to govern our wealth. So some of the things that we're going to be doing to further and better govern all that our ancestors have given us control over, because we control everything, is we're going to continue great record keeping. I'm so grateful for Empress Ravana, my daughter, who is the chief for Ancient Matriarch Saltwater Minerals, because she does so much. When, I didn't have time to do all of that and some of the other things that we do too, because we have so much that we do. So I every opportunity that I have to send her my highest honors, I do that. And today is one of those days. So Empress Ravana Moore, we thank you so much for all that you do. We know she's listening. So, again, what did our ancestors do? I will do that each day to govern this wealth that they've given us. If that means grinding seaweed, making it into seaweed powder, because there's so much seaweed here, we haven't even started talking about the seaweed portion of our estate. We haven't started doing anything with the rocks to create medicines from the rocks and from other plants that we can dehydrate. Any plant out there, once you know what the plant does, you can dehydrate it and then grind it into a powder, or you can dehydrate it and chop it up, and we can sprinkle it on salad. We can put it on in drinks. We can blend it in with things. We can use it as a topping on foods. There is no shortage of all that we can do. Go ahead, Nobility.
When I read this right here, the answer just comes straight to mind. Because of my studies, what I've seen and heard from the ancestors is that we would create something new, to assist us in doing things that betters humanity. Yes, that's what we ever did. I think about the street light, the seat belt, the windshield wiper. Like, look, those little things. Look at what's going on now. How big it has become.
Yeah, paper clips and staples.
Yeah.
Pencils.
Who would have known we need those? We will use those now. Like, you know, we would invent something new. That's what I think of.
Yeah. Invent something new and govern what we already have, and prepare and make room for more. Prepare and make room for more. Talk about abundance. Moors, there's no shortage of anything. No shortage, no shortage, no shortage. There is an abundance of everything that we will to have. And let me say this about the previous era and the pizza and the grocery stores and all of that stuff, and the cars and all of that. We know that all of that is leaving. It's dematerializing. That's a good word for it. It's dematerializing. It will be there for each one to the measure that we say that it's going to be there. When we don't recognize it anymore, and that's a good way to put that. When we don't recognize it anymore because it's not relevant, it will not be there anymore. It will go away. That's what you see happening right now. Everything that we have stated that should not be here has dematerialized. And the things that we're doing, and for some people, dematerialization, still, they can't see the full scope of that yet. They do see part of it. Everyone sees partial dematerialization, because we said that's what's happening. Everyone can see
wrong,
okay?
Wrong again.
Everyone can see it. I think they're a little bit upset because they thought that their savior was going to be a pale, dead corpse. So they're upset, so they keep, attempting to interrupt. But there's no such thing. We don't rupture. So there's no such thing as interruption. Islam nobility.
I got a question. What do we will to do about the professional sports?
Manifest our own, if that is our will. Okay. We all, and the only reason that we look at anything else, the only reason we would look at that is to see what they copied or revised and then we put it back in its proper place and state it properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Islam.
That is a revision of gladiator, Roman gladiator things that we did. That's all it is. They just, and then at first it was called the National Football League because it only had the nationals in it. Then they had to substitute and say NFL because substitutes were put in there instead of nationals. Islam. That's how we do everything. Everything is we look at it and we say how let us restate this and then begin demonstrating it. Islam, just Nate.
Yeah, when he said that, I'll use one sport as an example. Football. Where it came from? It came from, if you ever been on a football team, when they show you the plays, it's always in hieroglyphics. And the hieroglyphics that they use is actually ancient math. That's what they show you. But only people that really will pay attention would know what it is.
Yeah.
It was math. It was the study of the mind and exercising the body of the strength without even doing all the tackling and stuff like that. They tackle things. That's why it's tackling. Think about tackle. Tack. What's the hieroglyphic for that? It's something that's math. Everything is mathematical. Everything they got in these sports, it came from the body. Even when we using cell phones, it came from the body. Computers, it came from the body, because the study of the body. That's why they just turned it into a mindless sport. But technically, it's actually an intellectual sport, because you have to be what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? You have to strategize.
Yeah.
And strategy is a part of math. Islam.
And they use Roman numerals. They don't even use what was previously called numbers. They use letters instead of numbers. They use Roman numerals. They go back to that is their submission to ancient Rome. Come on now. Ancient Rome. That's what that is. That's why they don't, when you see it, they don't use the number system, and it's still an Arabic number system. The numbers are Arabic and the letters are Roman that we use, that we've been using. The numbers that you see on the screen are Roman, which is ancient and part of ancient English, and the numbers that we put on the screen generally is Arabic numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is Arabic. There was no number for 0 in ancient times because there was no such thing as nothing. So now with regard to our sea salt and the things that we're doing, we are calling it a national security remedy for those who are experiencing low mineral levels. We have to look at metabolism, which is really pronounced metabolism. That's what happens with whatever we consume. Metabolism, that means that consumption is spiritual first. Meta means spiritual. For us, it means spirit. For the dead, it means death. So metabolism or metabolism is how our body best utilizes consumption, such as nutrition and drink. And that's why the salts for salvation and the nutmeg and the seaweed and the sea moss and all of these natural things, that is why these natural remedies have such a positive effect on us. We would also suggest that before you send your items out, before you send the natural resources out, say a quick spell over them, that they get there quickly, unencumbered, and that they do all that you send them out to do. Islam. A positive affirmation, a positive spell. See, that is what they were hypothecating and subrogating in their enactment whenever they would say, no, you have to bless your food before you eat it. You have to bless your food. Well, what were you really blessing? Genetically modified things? Artificial things? What were you blessing? We are introducing our cravings killer, and again, we're stating these things. Cravings killer, let me just be real frank and clear with you. Cravings killer is our saltwater minerals in a container that says cravings killer. So nothing will change. It's going to be the same powerful natural resource with no changes made to it except the packaging maybe and what the packaging says. But what we're doing is we're calling it a national security remedy, and listen, every product that's being put out by each and every one of you is a national security remedy. These remedies secure our national, what do they secure? Our national nutrition. That's what they do. They secure that. They are medically necessary for everyone who has had any issues with craving food, alcohol, or drugs, because we know that those were, in the previous enactment, those were labeled as epidemic in our, in the enactment for us, for the sleeping Moors. We're not leaving anybody out, but we are targeting the heirs, the original indigenous heirs. We're targeting them because we are they. So we are targeting. Yes, we're doing that. We're not leaving anyone out. Anyone else who wills to have these natural resources can have them because they're part of the trust too. But we're targeting the heirs because the heirs have been targeted to the antithesis in the previous era. Okay? These natural resources give us the minerals and elements that our holy temples were asking for. And this is just a side note right here. This is the side note that we were talking about. If anyone has any 3 to 16 ounce glass containers to donate to assist us with getting the saltwater minerals out, please forward them to us at 911 Southwest 314th Place, Federal Way, Washington. And we may even start, if you're in a certain territory, we will come and pick them up. We sterilize them according to our high standards, and we speak over all that we do to cast prosperous spells for clarity, wealth, strength, and abundance, and all other to whoever receives our. And so Justice Ogunwale, that's why you're feeling, because we cast some great spells. Look for the wealth and the prosperity. Keep demonstrating. It's right there, waiting for you. So we continue to do that for all that we send out. With that being stated, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress? Islam nobility.
Can I get some sea salt, please?
Yes, I had some, but I was unclear on where to send yours.
I'll text you the location now.
Or you can send it in email. Send it via email.
Okay.
Okay. Islam, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom? If there's anyone here who would also wills to be placed on the list to receive our products, and Any of the other products, we're just going to go ahead and send them, so just expect them to come out if we've not already gotten your information. Islam. Empress. Empress Amora, and then Empress Cynthia.
Yes. Seeing that I'm listening here, and I'm here at Land of Flowers.
Yes.
Something that abundantly is produced naturally by the ocean here is a seaweed.
Is it the sargassum?
You know what, I fail to know what it's called, but it's almost like a grass.
Is it the one that came so abundantly that they were on the beach trying to collect it all? Is it that one, Empress?
Possibly so, because it abundantly just come up.
Yeah, that's it.
And so, yeah, so I was thinking I could probably dry them and grind them.
Empress, that would be a response from the universe for a request that I made, because we talked about the sargassum seaweed coming up at Florida territory. We talked about that at one of our congresses about a year and a half ago when it started coming in abundance. They said that there was so much of it out in the ocean on its way to Florida territory that it was the size of the United States almost, quote unquote. It was that much of it coming. And then they said, then at one point when they first said that it was coming, it was 5 miles worth of it coming towards Florida. I said, that's the ancestors telling us what time it is, because that's healing stuff right there. We get the seaweed here too, but we didn't get as much sargassum as you all have, and it has a sulfuric smell to it, so it doesn't smell that great.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the things that heal us, the things that taste bitter and the things that smell bad. Because of the sulfur and the elements, the natural elements that are in it.
Yes, and speaking of something that's bitter, another thing that's produced here, mostly in the summer. Mm-hmm. In Jamaica, it's abundant as well. And I'm probably sure in probably other nations that are, in the Caribbean area, is a thing that we refer to as cerasee. Now, I've heard it been described as squaw vine, for people who are mostly here. But in Jamaica, it's called cerasee, and it's bitter. Now, there was a young man who tried it, and he is not impressed with it. But then, at the same time, it does your body good.
Yes.
And so I could provide that as well. It takes a little bit used to, but it does the body well.
Empress, when I said earlier about how our palate is going to be uplifted,
mm-hmm.
See, we've been accustomed to a bunch of stuff that it's not natural, and that's the reason why we think that things that taste a little bitter and things like that they taste quote unquote nasty to us. But as our palate goes back up to its nobility and gets accustomed to eating things that are not trash, then those things will be good for us. We will adjust to the taste. But see, we had developed in the previous enactment the taste buds of a pauper. A pauper. That's a poor person. Mm-hmm. And the nobilities, our taste buds have to be changed. That's what the salt and all of that is for. Islam Empress.
Yes. Yes. And once I start getting that out, one of the things I could suggest is to steep it, and probably start out doing a little bit at a time, And I find drinking it cold is more palatable for someone who is being introduced to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have access to what is that? Coconut milk, you can kind of dab a little bit in there, and that's good. I've tried it with adding a little sea salt in it, and that's also good. And then some people go the other direction, and they probably do some agave or what is that, maple syrup.
Or some sugar cane.
All that.
Some sugar cane. Natural sugar cane. You know, Empress, if people really will to be better, and they will to change and to be healthier and to live longer, they'll figure out a way to get it in their system. We're doing that over here. With our pine tree tea, we started out first getting Lipton tea from the store and mixing it with that first. That's how we started it first. This time around, we were able to crush some tangerines or some fruit and then put it in there with some sugar cane or some honey or some agave. And we can't get enough. It's just we can, and the beauty is once it's cold, we can drink as much of it as we will and not have to worry about anything. We won't have to worry about anything. So that's the reason why those places, you know, grocery stores and all that stuff, were still here briefly, is so that we can make the transition. But we have to make the transition. So if you have to mix the things together in order to start getting it into your system, do that. If you have to grind up the sea moss into, you know, with it dehydrated, you grind it up like a fine powder and sprinkle it on your pizza, then do that. And just get it in your system and the cells will do the rest to the point where your appetite won't even point to things that are not good for you if you get hungry. Your appetite will say, you will start seeing things in your mind that, and I'm a living witness to this. Whenever we get hungry, we will see certain things, and whatever we see tells us how much salt is in our system. It tells us if we're craving a pizza from Pizza Hut, then we know we need to take some more sea salt so that we won't crave that. Not that it's, you know, we're not banning it. We're not saying there's anything wrong with eating that. But what we're saying is our cravings tell us what we're missing in our diet. That's a good way to know. And so every now and then we'll order whatever we will to order from wherever. But the most of the time, our lifestyle is things that are good for us. That's how you live longer. That's how you live longer. And anybody, Empress, who wills to have it, please, please, please go ahead and get those things moving, Empress, so that because we're saving lives, and those lives that we're saving are our own first, and then everyone else. Is this what you're talking about, Empress, that's on the screen here? Just one moment. I think I hit a button. Is this the seaweed? Let me see. That you're speaking of, Empress? I think you said it looks like grass. Can you see? It's not showing? Okay, just one moment. Just a moment. Let's see if we can get it on there. There's a bunch of it. The Empress Amora, is this what it looks like? Is it? You said it looks like grass. And I'm not sure if she can hear me. Hopefully we haven't lost Empress.
Apologies. Yes. I've seen that, but not as abundant as the other one that I was mentioning.
Okay. There are many that are, it's a large brown seaweed.
Yes. I'll look for it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely look for it.
There are many that are presenting themselves. And all in the same family, of course. We have different kinds here as well that sometimes we infuse our sea salt. So like when we're boiling our water for the sea salt, we will let the seaweed boil with it. And then as it boils down and it starts to dry, all we do is just grind it all up together. And then you got seaweed and sea salt there together. And we will use that as a something, it's the equivalent of bacon bits for us on a salad. We just sprinkle that on our salad instead of bacon bits. We're not mad at bacon bits. We love bacon bits. They taste good. But we know that the salt is better for us. So we use that too. So all is well. All is well. All is well. If there be, that is all, yes, Islam, Empress. Empress Cynthia.
Okay, just checking in. What is that email address again to place an order for sea salt?
It is here, I'll put it on the screen. Oh. You can send it there, lightbaymorishnation@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you very, very much. And then another question. Are you aware that the subjects are starting a campaign of having, first they started with a day that they weren't going to buy anything from the big box, from the corporations. They weren't going to spend any money. And so that day happened last Friday, and they said, and if that doesn't work, next time they're going to do a week, and then if not, that doesn't help them, they're going to do a month. It reminded me of what you suggested, so they're picking up on that energy too. And I was wondering, are you aware of that?
I am. I am, and what they're really doing is, again, they are doing as we have stated for them to do. Stop pushing debt all over the place. That's what we said. This Congress made that the law. And people are saying, fiat is alive and well. No, persons are saying that. Bots are saying, fiat is alive and well. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not alive and well. It's dead and gone. And even the subjects know that. Some of them have, some of them are saying 40-day fast from Target and Walmart and stuff. And I thought, when I heard that, I was like, wow, you're funny, but that's cute. That's good. They should be doing that. What they're doing is, as we're doing what we're doing, it's like a scale. That's really what it's like. It's like a scale that's balancing out. That's why I stated what I stated at the beginning of this Congress about all we have to do, Morris, is plan to get more of what we have from each other than we get from any place else. Get more of what we have from each other than we do from anywhere else. I can make cinnamon tea now, cinnamon and clove tea now. And I've got that for at least a month and a half or 2 months to make cinnamon clove tea with a little nutmeg in it. That would be just So now I don't have to go to anywhere and buy any tea. I can mix it with my pine tree tea. So now I don't have to mix Lipton tea with my pine tree tea. I have something else to do that with. So again, now that just means that for at least the next month, anything that I drink is covered. Anything that I drink is covered. Unless I choose otherwise, if I choose to drink something different. But I don't have to. See? I don't have to go to a grocery store and buy anything to drink for at least a month, 2 months, 3 months, or ever really. Now, that's one area that's under our sovereign authority. Now let's work on the next area. Well, I haven't had to go to a quote-unquote doctor or pharmacy, quote-unquote, for years. So that's another area of our estate under our sovereign authority. Let's keep going. Let's get it one area at a time. It's easy to do. All we're doing is balancing things out. We're not mad at the previous era. We're not mad at Pizza Hut and Walmart and Target. We're not mad at them. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing while we were asleep. We're awake now. We're not mad at them at all. But what we are doing is standing and governing. And we're going to continue to do things where everything that we eat, drink, and use on a daily basis comes from each other rather than anywhere else in the majority. We can get some minor things from those places if we choose to, and that's only if they're in alignment and in their proper status, so that we don't have to use fiat. That's the only way we will accept anything there. So all the subjects are doing is what we told them to do. And as we do what we're supposed to do, that's why I said we don't have to even worry about our subjects. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. Our job is to keep standing. Our job is to keep expanding the empire and providing for ourselves and everyone else, because they already know that when Walmart shuts down, that we're already going to be getting everything out to them already. We saw a place at the territory where it was a huge, quote unquote, store. All the shelves were empty, and they were just moved. There was just a few persons in there moving the last few things out. And as we looked at it, the Spirit said, well, now you can y'all can put your stuff on these shelves and do what and that way no debt is flying around on the land. Well, what does that mean? That means that anybody that was previously doing business as a police can't just come and slap cuffs on you, because you don't even use the stuff that they would be asking for. Because all they're going to do is try and present you with a bill and try and make you pay it. That's what they were doing in the previous era. Well, if we don't even recognize that stuff, we don't recognize it. Their paperwork, we don't recognize that. That's foreign. We don't know what that is. That doesn't have anything to do with us. Doesn't have anything to do with us. And we have all the proof that we're doing our own commerce, using our own money. And trust cannot be broken with us. Our trust cannot be broken. It cannot be ruptured and penetrated. That's not that kind of trust. See, there's protection in everything that we're doing. Protection for us and protection for everyone else. Everyone and everything and every place, everything. There's protection in what we're doing. That's why we keep going. Are there any other Islam, Empress?
Can you open, please, for
yes.
no Thank
you. Yes, we are actually about to adjourn. Islam, Empress Minerva.
Yes, I ran across this. This is under you're going to have them tell you the truth. And I saw this article earlier and I just posted it in the chat, and they were stating that the Abians were mostly dark-skinned until Roman times, ancient DNA suggests. So I just wanted to pass that along just in case anyone had saw that in passing as they were looking out there. But like you said. So, Empress, it was the Europeans, those that were calling themselves European. We were the original Europeans. That's what it's really. Exactly. You know? But now they're telling the truth.
Yes, indeed. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Now that means that somebody somewhere is facing death, because Prophet Noble Jew Ali said that was when they were going to tell the truth. So somebody somewhere is facing death over there. So they have to tell the truth so that they don't die immediately. So that it happens from natural causes instead of anything else. There was a Masonic signal sent out about 2 weeks ago. And they kept putting stories in the news, quote unquote, about this Masonic signal that was being sent out. Someone was trying to hack the genes, the genetic code. Someone was trying to hack it. In other words, someone was trying to subrogate and pretend to be us on a massive scale. So, and this is just to let you know how Masonic, quote unquote, Masonic signals work. About 2 weeks ago, someone whose name is Gene Hackman.
Oh.
An enactment of him dying. Gene Hackman. That's a Masonic signal, saying that whoever was trying to hack the genes, you can't do it. Yes, or perhaps. So when you see things like that, and here's the thing, he was married, quote unquote, to an Asian woman. And they worked together doing whatever they were doing. So those are symbols and signs that let you know what's going on, who's doing what and where, and what the status.
You're the only one that knows this. Wow. Ooh, you're the only one. Oh, my God.
He's saying that everybody knew that. That's what he's saying. Everybody knew that. Of course they did. I just thought I would bring it up, because that's how the funny mirror works. With that being stated, if there be nothing further from this amazing Congress, any other questions, comments, wisdom?
Islam. I'm going to just share about the sargassum. So I'm not sure if that was what Empress Amora said. She wasn't certain it was that, but there a couple years back now here, I do believe it was during the pandemic, but from there was a hullabaloo, because that was coming up on the beaches I used to go and collect it for the garden, and even cook it in soup, and it literally would come up 2 feet deep of it, and then there would be abundance of different things in it. I haven't seen it since the burial. I haven't seen it come up here, but it was just. I mean, the tourist industry they were beside themselves. You know, they were trying to get rid of it. But the interesting thing also is there are ancient maps which name the Atlantic Ocean, which we know was once a river, the Sargasso Sea.
Yes.
So I saw that. I realized, again, everything is just coming back into alignment.
Yes.
Fucking insane. Fucking insane.
Oh, it's all right. You'll be all right. Just settle down, subject. Just settle down.
You know, really relax yourself. But yeah, that's really it's a potent.
Yes.
Keep imagining bullshit.
And even this is what really got me about it, is that, and when I say got me, I mean it was an inspiration, is that anyone who was claiming to be a tourist on the beach, it shut that whole industry down. It shut the whole industry down for a while there, because that's the reason people were coming, was to occupy the beach.
You niggas is tripping.
Yes, absolutely. And particularly here, as with many of the other islands, access had been, and there's still issues, but was being cut off for the Aboriginal, the sovereign people.
Yes, that part.
That part.
See, before our ancestors do the whole thing, they send warning.
Yeah.
And that's, again, our paperwork precedes us because we are our ancestors' return. Due process means that whatever we say is going to happen.
It has to. Now, we still have some people, you know, running around with their placards and that sort of thing, but that's
right.
You know, that's just, you know, distraction.
That's
because
right.
In truth, it's already done.
It's a wrap.
Our papers have already gone, been done, and yeah.
See, Empress, it's a big ship. SHIP. It takes time, and then you're dealing with incompetence. When you send the documentation, they're not as competent as we are, and that's not an ego statement. That's just a fact. We're not, because listen, this is not about ego. We don't even need ego. We're so powerful. So it's not about that. It's just facts.
Just facts.
So, yeah. So, you know, the ancestors do things and they break a huge wall down. But because some Moors see the rocks from the broken down wall, they think the wall is still there.
Yeah.
When the wall is in shambles and it's falling all apart, it's all in pieces. Now all it takes is for a bulldozer to come and just move all of that stuff out the way.
That cell service is cut off.
That's happening.
It is happening.
And in the interim, they'll try to point to some weak little something and be like, see, yeah, happened. We done shut the whole mess down and got all types of ancient things back moving, and we supposed to be worried about that one little tiny little thing. Really?
Exactly.
They sound like fools. They sound stupid.
Yeah. Incompetent.
Yes, completely. So, you know, thank you, Empress Shash. That's, our ancestors know what they're doing. That's all I can say. Empress Shasha, Empress Minerva, and Empress, those who sent messages regarding Empress Angel, Empress Nabi, if you all would stay on, or either sign back on, or, well, just stay on the call so that we can hear from Empress Angel. She has a specific some that she has spoken with.
She's gonna
so that we can speak to her and hear from her. If you all will stay on as we adjourn. If there be nothing further from this great, amazing Congress. Yes, no, Billy. Justice Nato.
They want me to come down to the Social Security office, but what I did was sent in my nationality card, and they said it wasn't sufficient. They want me to bring Arizona
it's not sufficient for captivity and slavery. It's not.
Right. So I'm thinking that should I send in or bring with me a lien on my nom de guerre and my social? Take it
what
in.
Does your spirit say?
It says that I should, but I don't have a card that's working now.
Do what your spirit tells you to do. Now,
okay.
In the matter of full disclosure, I have to tell you that you're going to a fake court. It's a court action. That's why they have, quote unquote, summoned their courts, because they're not even talking to you. They summoned their courts to go down there so they can further cut you off. But you got to jump into the skin of a corpse in order for them to do that. Now, that's just what we know about that whole situation, because we know that your word in writing with a sovereign autograph that's how you continue to demonstrate who you are, is by court action in writing. And but again, you have to follow your spirit, and if your spirit says go and present this and that, then that's where you are on the timeline, and we support whatever you do.
Islam. I yield.
With full disclosure.
Thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
The only way, Islam, Empress.
Go ahead. Complete what you're saying.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead, Empress. I yield.
Okay, so I was just letting anyone know, if anyone is interested in getting some seaweed, trying some squaw vine or cerasee, or even some sand from the seaside.
Yes.
So let me know.
I will to have some. Empress Shasha has the list also of those who have gotten themselves in the circle of prosperity, because that's really what it is, because they'll be receiving. And Empress, you can start there too.
Okay, thank you. I will.
Islam. And I believe your appellation is on the list as well. Or the name that you own is on the list, rather. Let me put it that way.
I do.
Yes. Islam. So
Islam.
Anyone willing to get into the circle of prosperity, get on in there. Get your address to Empress Shasha or myself, and so that we can get you on the list. It's a circle of prosperity, because things will be coming, natural things will be coming that you can use, so that I don't have to go to the store, quote unquote, because we are the store. We know that. We don't have to go any place, anything to drink forever, really, because we have it all here and on the land, Islam. And also, for those, go ahead, Empress.
One additional offering. There's a plant called the bayberry leaf, or a bayberry plant. I heard that it's also good for, like, if somebody has like a like gangrene or something on their feet, and they want to immerse their bodies in a tub, that is good to kind of restore the tissues. I have access to that as well here.
Bayberry, of course, we love it. Yes, indeed. Justice Anthony, yes, Justice Anthony. I hear your energy going like, yeah.
I appreciate the accommodation, Empress. Do you have any information on the roundtable meetings that was supposed to go on Thursdays.
I have left that completely up to you all, to the sons. However y'all choose to do it, that's y'all's business.
I had still not received any invitations or anything. I don't even know if it's still going on. I was curious for the past 2 weeks now, and I haven't received any information. I wanted to know if it's still going on, if it's still operable.
So here on the call, I see several of the nobility, Justice Ogunwale, Justice Nate, Justice Anthony. The three of you, it is suggested, because you can't tell sovereigns what to do, that the three of you today, right now, solidify when, where, how among you.
Well, I'm available anytime.
Islam, put my email in the chat again. Just email me. Last week we had the brother got ill who had the link. I started a different shift, as far as work. So I couldn't issue the link out and perform the meeting. But this week we are looking forward to meeting.
Okay, so will you put the information for that meeting? Do you have the information for the meeting?
Well, I'm gonna put my email in the chat and
okay, great.
Contact me and I'll send the email out. The link out to everybody for the meeting.
There you go. That's for the emperors. Because that round table is for them, because there's some things that are specific to them, and some of those things we will share a few things that are specific to you all as well, emperors. It's going to be some keys that that is nothing but benefits for you in every area.
I'm looking forward to it.
Angel.
Islam. Islam. There it is in the chat. Please get that. As we adjourn, we will go ahead and adjourn and meet again. We have just a couple of weeks before the national trade launch. We are meeting on that Thursday, which is the 20th, and then we're meeting again on that Sunday after the trade launch, which is the 22nd, or I think it's the 23rd, somewhere around there. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we're meeting on Sunday at our regular Congress time. So be prepared. That Thursday, we just will to see where we are with the list of that we're all sharing of those who will to be in this wheel of prosperity. That's really what that Doge thing reminds me of. Is a wheel of prosperity where you're receiving all of these natural resources just because you're in trust. We are in trust with one another.
No convenience or self-service.
Okay. So we love them. We love them. And we love the love that they keep giving. They just keep giving and keep giving all that wonderful love. Because, we know
we have all the fiat. That's
why. Love. So now, is there anything further from this Congress?
We feel your jealousy. You're so jealous of us. Yes, we know. You're so
I think
jealous.
I'll just let that go.
You're so jealous. We feel it.
Yes. I'm not even going to mute it.
So jealous because you don't have shit. Because you know the fiat is alive and well. It is alive and well, Paulino. Everywhere you go, fiat is being spent.
And at our will, we shut that down. They still don't know anything about. See,
you just don't want it.
They were just worshiping you. They were worshiping you.
Of all of us, they were worshiping us all at one time. They were worshiping us all right now. Accept your worship gods for this earth. Ooh, they love us. They can't get enough. They won't stop coming. They must see us every week.
I'm wondering, what do they have going on at their domicile? Apparently nothing, because they
don't
so
have
committed.
A domicile. They don't have one. That's the issue.
So committed.
You actually have to have a domicile to have some business going on at the domicile. You got to have one first. They don't even have one. They don't.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is for years. So it's all good. We love them and we appreciate the worship. We know we deserve it. The worship is worship. Any sound they make, we only hear worship. Islam. With that being stated, we will adjourn. And again, the empresses who sent inboxes and messages about Empress Angel, if you empresses would stay on so that we can speak with our amazing Empress Angel, who is just so powerful. With that being stated, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American gods. Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude.
Gratitude, Moors. Much love and peace and success.
Yes, indeed.
Late rising to the Moors. Islam.